format, didn't he? Changed the team. Absolutely fantastic.
Up the Boro, big smiles on faces all round. Hey, 2-0 victory. Thank you very much. 3 points at home. It is RedArmy.tv, of course. With me in the studio, the gruesome twosome. No, two very good guests and very good friends of mine. Chris Joseph, our legal eagle. Welcome. And we also have James Lees, who is unfortunate enough to have to sit next to the RedArmy.tv office. But a big Boro fan from Eston.
Yes.
Welcome, mate.
Thank you very much.
3 points at home, finally in the Premier League. Start with you, Chris. How welcome are they?
Very welcome. It's several months since we saw a victory at the Riverside, so very welcome points indeed. And we were expecting, we don't know quite what to expect with Bournemouth, but they didn't knock six past us, did they?
I know Laurie Cox was on here a couple of weeks ago and claimed she had victory because she said 1-1 against Arsenal and it was 0-0. She claimed victory because of the draw. I did state on this very show and on TFM as well, where we did a piece, 2-0 to the Boro. That was my prediction, so thank you very much. I think it's something back like 12th of April was the last home victory at the Riverside, taking pre-season friendlies out the way. So a valuable 3 points, but absolutely essential, isn't it, James?
Oh, 100%, especially against a team like Bournemouth. I think those are the teams, when you look at the fixture list before the beginning of the season, those are the teams you've got to look to at least get 3 points from at home and try and nick something away from home possibly. But yeah, fantastic result. It did feel like a lifetime ago since we beat Reading at home, but it was really welcome, and I think Riverside was rocking on Saturday after that.
But a decent team still, Bournemouth. They're going to take points off people, as they've already done this season.
Well, that's right. I mean, they're also a good footballing team.
Yeah.
I mean, we've come up against two footballing teams in the last 2 weeks in Arsenal.
A few more to come as well in the next few weeks.
Well, one on Saturday, but we'll talk about that later. But as far as Bournemouth are concerned, they're a good team, and they know where the goal is.
You are agreeing, of course, as we'd fully expect after such a victory. Crumpet style, like the name. Top performance today, wasn't a bad player on the pitch. Good 3 points, get in up the Boro. Paul Vickers, get in, great result at the Boro. Every Boro fan, it's time to spend the week enjoying the win. Oh, we have been. Wayne, well done, Boro. Strong team performance, 2 good goals. Talking of performances, we've been asking for quite some time. Please, Aitor, bended knee, start him from the beginning, at home particularly. Now, he got his start, obviously, at Arsenal, then against Bournemouth. Traore, how much of a difference did it make to our formation, our style of play, our attacking intent?
Absolutely massive, to be honest, because especially against a team like Bournemouth, I think it's important to try and pin their midfield back, because otherwise they'll get the ball, they'll pass the ball higher in the pitch, and they'll really put us under pressure. Someone like Traore, it's difficult to defend against, because even if his final product isn't there at times, he will scare the defence, and I thought he was massive for us. And that little dink in for our second goal was absolutely superb.
Outside of the right boot,
yeah.
A great header, downing from 2 yards. My dad doesn't give anybody credit. Bless him, he said, I'd have scored that from 2 yards out. But Traore, he did give us something different, didn't he?
Well, he also should have won a penalty. I mean, it did look to me as if he hadn't gone down in instalments, he would have got a penalty.
Speaking as an ex-ref, if somebody tries to really egg that pudding, go down in instalments, I'm likely to say, no, get up, son. But massive impact. It's given the fans a lift. It gave the team a different angle in terms of attack.
Well, we know he's one of the fastest players. We were talking about, it was on the programme last week, we were talking about how fast he is. He's superb. He's a brilliant player. And, you know, he just needs... Karanka did what we didn't expect him to do, which was actually he'd done well at Arsenal. We were expecting him to drop him for the Bournemouth game, but he didn't. So it's a pleasure to see that Karanka is actually listening as well.
He's Usain Bolt on speed. That's what he is. Mark Gallagher, Traore is excellent. Needs to start every game. Mark Gallagher, doesn't he like work behind the scenes? Anyway, favouritism, yes it is. Bob Mortimer, never heard of him. You got a Doma, we got a Dharma. You should have called the whole thing off. Like it. Nice one. From the attack, let's go to the other end. Chris Valdez. He's been looking good in the last couple of games, and that's 2 clean sheets on the bounce. How much of a confidence builder is that for him in the defence?
I think it's great because he's beginning to command the box a bit. He's beginning to. He's not fighting with the defence as well, which didn't help. But he did very well at Arsenal. I was at that game. and he only made one mistake at Arsenal when he came out for a cross and didn't get to it. And against Bournemouth, he was equally good. So, I mean, terrific. I mean, the main thing is no goals.
He has been a bit of a letdown, hasn't he, up until the last couple of games. So are we now seeing the true Valdez shine through?
Oh, I don't. The letdown thing, I'm not 100% with that one. To be fair, no. The only
you see, I was expecting him to be like he was when he played for Barcelona.
It depends on how you remember the whole Barcelona thing. To be fair, I mean, he was playing like behind a superb team, probably one of the best Barcelona teams ever put together. But I think the only games I've been disappointing with Valdez was probably the Everton one away. I thought he didn't command his box very well at all. He looked a bit shaky. But even the Tottenham game when they had the Clayton incident, he still looked good. He made some good saves, especially it was a double save he made in the first half, which was superb. I've been happy with him, but he's definitely looked a lot better. But I think a lot of that as well, I think the midfield looks a lot better as well, so we're not under the cosh as much as we were.
Now, you've just touched on Clayton. Clayton, Forshaw, Ledbitter's back. There's another positive from the Bournemouth game as well. How nice to see the skipper back.
It was massive. I'm a huge Grant Ledbetter fan for myself. It was great to see him back. And I look at a few games such as Watford at home, and I thought if we had Grant Ledbetter in that game, that would not have happened. He's not the most gifted footballer in the world, but it's what he brings to the team regards his work ethic and how he won't let things go. I think he's superb, and you need something like that, not just in the squad, but in the team. And I'll be looking for him to make a few starts very soon, I think.
Bit of a problem, though, for Aitor, isn't it, Chris?
It is, but it's...
Who's he going to leave out? Forshaw? Can't.
Well, it's difficult. It's difficult to leave Forshaw out. I mean, he's even knocking at the England door now. But I think with Grant Ledbetter, it was great to see him come on. It was great to see he immediately was given the captain's armband.
And he stood there giving us, come on,
he was giving instructions, he knew what he was doing, and you felt that we would see out that last 25 minutes or whatever it was that he was on. I mean, it was, I think he's, I don't know where he's going to play him in the team or how he's going to configure this, but he might prove to be somebody particularly useful against Manchester City, in putting some steel into that midfield as well.
A couple of tweets on the subject of midfield. UTB Boro TV. Wherever heard that from before? Get in there, lads. Huge 3 points. First home win of the season. Great to see local lad Downing score. And Gaston. And for Ledbetter to return. Mike Waterson, fantastic performance today from the Boro. Forshaw was awesome. He gets better with every game. Clean sheet. 2 fantastic goals. And then Mike followed on with another tweet. Adam Forshaw for England. Well, the Daily Telegraph, or is it called the Telegraph now? Don't read it. They're pushing the Forshaw for England. We'll touch on that in a bit. But cracking goal from Gaston. But maybe that's the saving grace for Aitor in midfield because Gaston can't play against City. But come on, talk us through the goal, James.
Come on. It was a goal from nothing, to be fair, wasn't it? Let's be honest. What Match of the Day done really well was focus on the fact of where he was when the ball was won, and he was on the edge of our box. Yeah. And that turn of pace, and what really won the goal for me, to be honest, was his drop of the shoulder in the box. That was, you'd think he was possibly suffering a little bit of lack of confidence recently, but maybe the Arsenal games brought him back out of his shell, and then because he was fantastic in that game. But that drop of the shoulder and little calm finish with his right foot was superb, absolutely superb. And I sit in the south stand, and to see that from where we were was brilliant.
So Stuani at Sunderland or Gaston against Bournemouth? Which one, Chris?
Gaston against Bournemouth.
Better than Stuani at Sunderland?
Yeah.
I mean, Stuani at Sunderland was rather sweet, wasn't he? Because he was against the Mackhams.
If Messi or Ryan Giggs had done that, it would be on as the best goal in the world for a long, long time. So it was a cracking goal.
We did ask the question in the RedArmy.tv poll, was Gaston's goal the goal of the Premier League season so far? Give you 3 options. As you can see, oh yes, or up there with them, or nah, seen better. Up there with them, won it 53%, oh yes, 34%. Where did you stand on that one? Did you say nah, seen better?
Nah, seen better, yeah. I mean, just as the Boro goal this season, we felt, I mean, you just mentioned Stuani. I think Stuani was absolutely brilliant. Just as a sweet strike to fly.
But it's only got gilt edges because it came against the Mackhams.
It could come against anyone. I just love that goal. I think the Ramirez goal is one for the football purists, but I love to see a nice one right from the top corner myself from distance.
It's nice to know that we'll have 2 goals in for the goal of the season competition.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very true.
Long may that continue and we get more. Fellas, more from you guys in a second. But high time we checked in with Joe. Yeah, Joe Nicholson. His match report, what he made of Boro doing Bournemouth.
So Boro record their first home victory of the season after a 2-0 win over Bournemouth, and a massive improvement compared to that 1-0 defeat against Watford a couple of weeks ago. It could have all been different if Callum Wilson had put away that first half chance when his shot hit to the bar after a good save from Victor Valdez, and I was quite impressed with Bournemouth in that first half an hour. I thought the movement shown by their front three was could have been quite dangerous for Boro, but Boro withheld the pressure and took the lead through a great solo goal from Gaston Ramirez about 5 minutes before half-time, when he took the ball from inside his own area to make it 1-0. And Boro started well after the break. They capitalised on that, doubled their lead soon after half-time when Stuart Downing converted Alvaro Negredo's knockdown. And from there, that kind of knocked the stuffing out of Bournemouth. Boro again very good at the back. Gibson and Chambers did very well at sweeping up any danger. George Friend had a really good game as well defensively, and going forward, Adama Traore was always a threat on the break. So a massive win going into a tough run of fixtures against Man City, Chelsea and Leicester, and very important to get that first home victory on the board.
So it was the Gaston goal that really caught the eye as far as the Bournemouth match is concerned. Caught the eye with tweets as well. Neil Devine, well, I've just witnessed the goal of the season, taken by Ramirez. Daniel Radix, great win today. Boro, game needed a moment of class, and Gaston's goal was exactly that. Hazel Clay, cracking win for the Boro, nice 3 points and a change. And what a goal by Ramirez to set us off. Right, last week we talked about Bernie Slaven chatting, as he was, at Jamie Pollock's place, Top Corner Sports. If you were of a nervous disposition, put your fingers in your ear, because Bernie uses one or two little choice words. But let's catch up on get a flavour of what happened at Jamie's place with Bernie Slaven.
Peter Beagrie, remember him? Yeah. Ooh. He looked at me because there was Pallister, Ripley, Percy, Gingery, Strawberry, Blonde, whatever it was, Cooper, they were all blonde. Died. And I had this quiff in the black hairy chest, and he went, "Is there some werewolf?" And that was it, but it was only behind closed doors. Nobody knew outside the dressing room. Anyway, unknown to me, Tony Mowbray, who I respect greatly, he released it to the national press. I wasn't aware of this. And on the Saturday, we played Leicester City at Filbert Street, and we've ran out, and the 2,000 Boro fans are all going, "Ow!" And I thought, what the fuck's that? And it turns out they'd obviously, Tony Mowbray told the press that I was nicknamed the werewolf, and that was it, it stuck. When Bruce Rare came in, I was aware of Bruce, didn't know him personally, but I thought Rare, captain of Scotland, ruthless, was nicknamed the assassin. He's not a footballer. He definitely won't like me. I've the heart the size of a pea. I honestly thought when Bruce came in, I would be gone. I don't know what the other lads were thinking, but I was thinking, I won't be his type of player. I like to think I had a good touch, could beat a man, score a goal. I didn't think he was going to look for that. But to my surprise, he came in and wanted out-and-out football. He wanted the passing game, score goals, entertain. It was everything that he didn't do. What he achieved at Middlesbrough after liquidation is better, I say this regular, is better than Mourinho winning the Premier League, or Fergie winning the Premier League. Going third, second, first with local lads, no money, or limited money, to get the top flight and beat Chelsea and relegate Chelsea. What an achievement that was. And that was down to Bruce Rare for me. I've never been caught a Scottish bastard so much in my life. Get back, you lazy bastard. Slaven, get back. All the lads are shouting at me throughout the whole game. I never got a kick. I think I had one header. Came off the bar and I should have hit the target. The keeper was lying down over the bar. But in hindsight, it's probably the right decision, because when the whistle went, I'm the nearest to the Boro fans. So we've got promotion. Third, second, first, relegated Chelsea, all against the odds. I'm running towards the Boro fans. And I can see them disturbed going, and I looked round, and every fucker's run off the park. The Chelsea fans are burst through the fence, they're running at me. And I wasn't fast, but I'd have beat Linford Christie that day. So I run off the pitch, and we could not come out for a good half hour because the Chelsea fans, the horsebacks, not the police, were getting them off the pitch. And sadly, the national press, that was all the headlines the following day. We get credit, but they overrode what we'd achieved, really. But we did come out to celebrate with the Boro fans. But what summed up the team that I played in, Colin Henderson, could rest him, he was the chairman at the time, he says in the dressing room, right, do you want to go to the Hilton in the middle of London? We'll have a slap-up meal, drink, champagne, whatever. And the lads will come, no, we want to get back to Teesside, go to the Mall. Remember the Mall? And on the way to London, we stopped at fish and chip shop. Now that summed up the mentality. I couldn't imagine this crowd now going to a fish and chip shop. No, I can't imagine that. But that summed up the calibre of play we had in that dressing room at the time.
Fantastic night had by all. Got to say, by the way, congratulations, John Walker from Billingham and also Jamie Poole from Redcar, 2 winners on RedArmy.tv last weekend. They won tickets to go and see Bernie. A night with the Slaven. Now, he did mention fish and chips. We all do like a fish and chip, don't we, fellas? More than one, hopefully. Let's forget fish and chips because for the moment we're talking Teesside's finest. Yes, the trusty Parmo. The beast that is, what's he called? Alvaro Negredo was introduced to the Parmo this week by the physio at the club. And he said he absolutely loved it. So we thought, why not sample the best Parmos not the town, in the world. Jeff the chef is with us on RedArmy.tv. Come on in, Jeff. This guy makes the world's best Parmo. There he is, by the way, Jeff the chef. Fantastic. How good is it?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Look at this. Thank you, Jeff. Marvellous. Teesville, the shop?
Yes.
Teesville. Have a look at that. I don't know which camera we're going to use for this one. There we go. Hang on. Sorry, fellas. One must indulge in the true Teesside fashion. I'm on a diet as well. Absolutely fantastic. Do you like a Parmo?
I do.
You've got to talk longer than that. I've got food in my mouth.
I know. If I have some, I'll have food in my mouth as well, and then we can pass it on to you.
You fancy a Parmo, do you?
Oh, I'm all right for one now. My missus will have to lose a bit of weight, but I've frequented in 1 or 2 of my time.
I'll tell you what, try some of this for us. Because we've got to talk about Bournemouth and City and all sorts of stuff, but go on then. I know it's rude to... there's a bit there, mate. There's a bit just on the corner. Go on, then get stuck in.
Don't tell the wife.
It's hard not to. You're on telly, mate.
I know.
Well, we're scoffing Parmo. We're going to finish off talking about Bournemouth very shortly. I want a chip as well. Last Saturday, we got 3 points. Also, the former artist in residence at the Borough, Richard Piers Rayner, opened an exhibition at the TP Coffee House just over the border, Gosforth Street. We caught up with him and a former Borough legend. Where did the love affair with Middlesbrough start?
Well, it's in the genes, I think, as with so many other Borough people. My granddad bought his house on Tavistock Street because it was so close to Ayson Park. In those days, it was a little stand which had been transported from Winthorpe Road. Was the stand at that side. So he used to go, my dad used to go until he was forbidden by Acklam Grammar School because that was a rugby school and you weren't allowed to go to the footy. But it was sort of there. You would go to Grandma and Granddad's on a Saturday afternoon and you'd hear the footsteps on the cobbles outside. The lights would come on in a winter's afternoon. You'd hear the umpire band going up and down the pitch in those days. So that's when it started. I went to my first game in 1961, October 61, Boro Liverpool in the old second division. We beat them 2-0 and a Liverpool player called White scored both own goals. That was my first ever game, 61. Of all the pieces here, and the pieces here tell the history of the club from 1876 to very near the present. From the pieces that are here, and there are 41 canvases, there were 400 altogether that I had to whittle down to the ones that actually tell the story that we have here.
And how long is it here?
3 weeks. Titan Gallery, Royal Middlehaven House, Middlesbrough, site of the Transporter Bridge, 3 weeks.
Where does the Borough inspiration, or should I say, where does the inspiration come from for your Borough pieces?
Well, it was funny because I started at the Borough when I was the official artist in residence. It was Brian Robson's last season when I started, and the brief then was basically go along to the match, take some photos, do a picture based on that week's game, or a bit of behind the scenes stuff, training, things like that. At some point during the course of that year, I just got interested in the history of the club, and it came to light that Borough's ground before Ayson Park, Winthorpe Road ground, there was only one photograph, which was of the turnstiles. It could be anyone's turnstile. But we had the schematics, the architectural design of the ground, so we knew what it looked like, we knew where it was. And just but the first recreation I did was I did a picture of the Linthorpe Road ground as it would have looked looking from Linthorpe Road, and it grew from there. Just going into the history, the two major cup finals that we won in the 1800s. It seemed to be forgotten when people talk about the Carling Cup being our only major piece of silverware. We had major pieces of silverware. Really, we're up to our ears in major pieces of silverware. We once pulled out of the Cleveland Cup to give the others a chance. So I wanted to recreate those lost days, and that was part of the incentive.
Tell us about the picture. What am I looking at?
Well, he looks as if he's beaten me, yeah, but... Pele. When in America, when I went to America, Minnesota Kicks, and the beat is up there. And
he was with Cosmos, wasn't he?
Cosmos. Peter Bryan played for us. Bryan Salty, you remember?
Yeah.
He had a set do and he chained him, I think. Pele, can you imagine? But they still beat us 2-1. That's all I can remember, really. You're supposed, it's like all the razzmatazz before a sporting event in America. You come and you just to the crowd and you wave, you've got to admit, your name is mentioned that. And you've got to do it, it's razzmatazz. You mentioned Pele, introduced Pele, he did a lap of honour before the match. Because he's so famous.
Great to catch up with Frank Spraggan, the former left back, of course. We had Jim Platt, number 1, John Craggs, number 2 in the studio a couple of weeks ago. Frank Spraggan, number 3 on Big Jack's team sheet. Didn't even know he played against Pele, but there you go. You learn something new every day. Back to Bournemouth to finish it off. We've been doing the business as far as fans are concerned, fellas. Adam Nippard is a big Bournemouth fan. And he tweeted to say, must say, Middlesbrough is some of the loudest home fans I've heard for a while. A couple of Bournemouth fans were taken around the town and ended up in the Club Bongo International. We're building a bit of a reputation for ourselves, James, whether it's home or away.
Yeah, definitely. I think more increasingly at home now as well. I think all credit for that has to go to the Red faction as well, to be fair. That's where my seat is, to be honest. And the contrast from being in the North Stand to there now is absolutely massive. Every home game feels like an away game atmosphere now. It's brilliant to be there, and it's not just Bournemouth fans that have said it so far. Tottenham fans are saying it. Even the Tottenham manager Pochettino praised our fans, so he's never heard home fans like it before. I think at the moment we're a credit to our club.
It'll be good to carry that through into City as well, because we're going to need that support, aren't we?
We're going to need, I mean, they've got a lot to shout about at City at the moment, and our fans will give them, their fair due. We've got, I mean, with the home crowd at the moment at the Boro, the South Stand and the North Stand are working in tandem, which is something that never used to happen. And it's, even the West Stand jangles its jewellery just a little bit harder.
We crunch on our prawn sandwiches. Just a little bit louder than normal. I say we because that's where I end up sitting. Just looking at the game though, Ben Gibson very good again today. Negredo was good. People moan about his work rate. That's Joe Tyndall. On Gibbo and probably Forshaw as well, because the Telegraph's now linked Forshaw with a possible England cap. Southgate was at the game. What would he be taking away as far as Gibson and Forshaw were concerned, Chris?
Well, I think defensively Gibson is superb. I mean, you don't know he's there, but he's doing a cracking job. And Forshaw is getting more and more confident with every game, and his tricks and flicks work. Yeah. And he knows how to. He's got a very low centre of gravity as well. He's only a small player and he can nip around, and he's very, very effective.
Can you see him in an England shirt?
I didn't even consider it until this article came out today, to be honest, but it just echo what Chris was saying. His low centre of gravity is absolutely superb. He's impossible to get the ball off, and I've never seen a Boro midfielder who can pivot so easily without the ball as Adam Forshaw can, and why not?
What I like about him is his first thought is going forward.
Yeah.
It's not sideways, it's not back. He gets a ball and has a look upfield first of all, and it's great to see that in a Boro midfielder.
Yeah, it is brilliant, and even if his first touch is with his back behind the goal, he turns and pivots instantly, looking for that forward pass, trying to attack, and we haven't had that in centre midfield for a long, long time, to be fair, and it's a pleasure to see, and he deserves everything he's getting, because at the beginning of the season he wasn't tipped to be our starting midfielder, and now it's Forshaw and one other. So he's forced to crank his hand with that, and long may that continue.
As we say, for a week, and then there's the international week. I think AK has got out of jail free with that selection because Gaston's not available for City, which we'll come on to very shortly. But before we do that, let's catch up with the latest news on RedArmy.tv Here's Chris' story.
We start with great news that Finley Ingalls will be going to America for his life-saving brain surgery. Finley's mum Cara recently came into RedArmy.tv to explain how the surgery needed can only be sourced in the US. 2 huge donations meant that the fundraising topped the £200,000 needed. The Telegraph newspaper has sparked talk of an international duty for Boro midfielder Adam Forshaw. The national paper stated Forshaw was clearly in the thoughts of Gareth Southgate and could get a call-up should injuries kick in ahead of the international weekend. Southgate was at the Riverside last weekend when Forshaw starred against Bournemouth. And finally, the Gazette has started speculating on which players will be first out the door at the Riverside's come January's transfer window. The Borough Road paper suggests that the likes of Mahia, Sensui, Desart, DePenna, Husband and Jordan Rhodes could well be about to go. The window opens on New Year's Day. And don't forget, if you have any Borough news, you can drop it into us here. It's email studio@redarmy.tv or via social media at Borough Red Army.
Thanks, Chris. Now, just to wrap up the Bournemouth affair before we move on to City, you've had your say on the camera as well. RedArmy.tv, out on the streets, big Mark with a camera, and these were your thoughts.
Big improvement, yeah. Could have done with a few substitutions earlier, but a lot better.
Good win.
Yeah, decent win, yeah.
Happy with the team?
Not entirely, but getting there. Getting there, yeah.
Views on today's game, please.
Absolutely brilliant. Changed the format, didn't he? Changed the team. Absolutely fantastic. Brilliant.
We're
back.
Well, that was the right result, and Traore, brilliant, playing every game and signing for another 10 years. Brilliant. 3 good points.
I thought Forshaw was outstanding. I thought Traore was great until he got that knock, and he didn't look the same after that.
Game today, absolutely brilliant. Both goals, absolutely fantastic. Shuey Downen, local lad, scoring, about time as well. Bournemouth, sorry, never turned up today. Sorry to say that, but come on Borough, up the Borough.
So, positivity going into the trip across to Manchester to take on City. James, they've just done Barcelona in the Champions League. Will it be a tired City we'll face? Will it be an overconfident City we'll face? Or will it be a Manchester City that are up there towards the top of the Premier League, sitting pretty and full of every confidence in the world?
It's one to be answered with a shrug of the shoulders, I guess. It's you just don't know. I think they may be a bit jaded, and I think they might be thinking, oh, Middlesbrough turn up, they've been doing okay recently, not that good. I really don't know. I think all we can do, and ask as fans, if we go there, do like we did against Arsenal, give it a go, defend well. If we nick a goal, fantastic. But as long as we put the effort in, I think we'll be okay. But I don't want to, I'm not expecting us to win, but it'd be nice to see something happen.
Oh, it would be nice to win. Chris, we did win a couple of seasons back in the FA Cup. Has it got any bearing on this match whatsoever?
None whatsoever. None whatsoever. As I remember, Mahias was in goal. And what I also remember was that, it wasn't two different, it is now two completely different teams. I think the Barcelona game on last night will be. I don't think it's even relevant. I think the Barcelona got caught with several mistakes defensively, and we've got a pretty good defence. So I think the whole City again are a footballing team.
But so are Arsenal.
Arsenal were, and Bournemouth were, and look, we got something out of those. So with a bit of hope this time round.
Pep Guardiola's a pretty shrewd coach, isn't he? He's a top dog in coaching terms. Is there any chance he will not have his players firing on full cylinders?
Coming from him, no. But you don't know what a player's mentality may be at that time. But rest assured, Guardiola will have full focus for his whole squad on this game, and he will put a lot of work into trying to beat us.
Now then, what about the Beast, of course? Negredo, we're expecting him to start, going back to his old club.
Yeah.
Point to prove. 100%. Could we see a little bit extra from him?
Maybe. He definitely does have a point to prove, because he kind of left under a cloud, I think, at City, because he had a half-decent season, but it was more of like a run of goals, I think, when Aguero was injured, but he done well. And City fans were surprised to see him go, and I think he probably has a point to prove. But you can see he's putting a lot more graft in recently. His first touch is superb as well. I think he just needs a bit more confidence in front of goal, but what a better time to do it.
Well, he's now fuelled, of course, by the Teesside Palmos.
Very
So
true.
are we going to see him on the score sheet, Chris?
Yeah, as long as he doesn't eat too many before he goes there.
Well, we'll restrict his intake. You know, just.
Well, now the physio is recommending them. It's going to be. Maybe the whole team are going to be on.
What are you expecting out of the game? Come on, prediction time.
A cheeky 1-0 to us.
Oh, that would deserve. I'll buy you a Parmo. I will get Jeff the chef to cook you your special, very own Parmo if that's the case. What do you fancy? Other than a Parmo?
Oh, well, I always fancy one of them. My head says we'll probably get beat late 1-0, but my heart saying we can nick a 1-1 draw.
All right, interesting. Well, against Arsenal, I went for a 2-0 defeat, and look what happened. So I'm going to say a 2-0 defeat because I want a 0-0 draw. What do I think? I'm hoping for a 0. I'll be happy with a 0-0.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed against the City. Let's see if we can keep this unbeaten run going. Yeah, I'd love us to nick one right at the back end. Fellas, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Got to say thank you to Jeff the chef as well. Teesville, king of the Palmos. Get in there and buy some. They're fantastic. We're going to scoff the rest of this now. Fingers crossed for something out of the City. We'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.
Gaston Ramirez, up the Boro.
Come on, Boro, we can beat Teesside.
Come on, lads, believe. Come on.